Hello again, YouTube. So I spent about a full hour trying to do just a regular video talking about some stuff and just couldn't really find the right vibe. So I was like, all right, fuck that. I'm going to just do one of my songs because we kind of need to get back on track with that, right? So I made a short about this, but I'm going to just talk about this briefly before we start. This is going to be the last song I do for my album, even though this isn't the last song for my album for the next couple of videos. And the reason is because I've been kind of struggling with doing everything because I'm kind of breaking chronological order just a little bit because I felt, well, since I'm going through my album stuff, let's just finish my album and then we'll kind of fix everything. But it's not really feeling right. So after this video, we're going to have one more song to do before the album is finished. But we're going to do 2 to 3 more songs, and then we'll close out the album. And then I'll do an album review on everything. Because that is the truer chronological sense of things. All right? That being said, we are going to do one last one for the album for the next 3 to 4 videos. This one is Bright Lights, Big City. And yeah, there's some stuff to talk about with this one. So for those who already know this version of the song, for those who already know the song, I'm going to do kind of a little bit of an alternate version. Whenever I do the song acoustically, I usually do it slower. But since I'm going to be referencing like the album version, which is fast, I'm going to do kind of a hybrid in between. All right? So without further ado, here we go. Bright lights, big city. How is it? Wonders all around. Listen to those sounds. Sunsets over water, but you're never here. Something's all around, same things being shown. Many years went by, and now I can't deny there's just an emptiness inside me right now. No matter how I try, I just can't live this life. There's nothing here for me no more. Has lost its hold on me. Long roads away me. Goodbye, see you soon. actually got through that. I had one lyrical mess up, and I remembered the third chorus, which is crazy, or third verse, because I thought I'd forget it. Okay. Yes, I know my hair is a mess. The lack of hair that I have is still a mess. All right, so let's talk about the song. Bright Lights, Big City, I wrote actually a little bit earlier than some of the other stuff that I did, right? So if we look at Living for Today as my first song, and then we look at Miss the Train Blues as my first album song, it's actually kind of in between that state. And the reason for that is Bright Lights, Big City took me a long time, like over a year, to finish completely. The reason is because that was kind of like the apex of my guitar playing right there. And this was even before I had like my tendonitis with my hands. So now the song is just hard for me to play because it's physically like, kills my hand to do it. But back then, like I struggled to even play it, and I played the song even faster live with my whole band. So that right there was the hard part. And then the lyrics. I never had lyrics that I felt satisfied with. And spoiler alert for if you listen to the album version, I actually just vamped and made up the lyrics for the third verse because I never had it. And I told our band, I was like, hey, we need to get this song recorded. I don't have anything. I'm just going to say something. And worst case, we'll dub it later on. And I don't think I ever gave a shit about dubbing it and was just like, fuck it. Let's just keep it. Which sucks because you can hear like the vocal quality, like the confidence of like the vocal, and then like that third verse comes along and it's just not good. So there's always a little bit of hurdles with this song, and that's kind of why I threw it later on with the chronological order sense, because it wasn't finished until about 2 months into my blues trio. So at that point, right, if we're looking at all the songs I have in the chronological order list I have so far, we have Living for Today, a couple of incomplete ones that we're going to get to eventually, starting with Miss the Train Blues, Tease to Please. Then we have Chicago Storms, then this song, Bright Lights, Big City, and then we have some of the other stuff that I've covered. Yeah, kind of weird chronological structure, but that was kind of my intent with it because this song just wasn't finished until basically right to when we started performing it live. And we just wouldn't do a third verse. We would literally just do the chorus, and then I would do a quick little solo, and then we would end on another chorus, basically. When we recorded it, I don't know why I was adamant. I was like, I got to have a third verse. But as we were talking about before, I had a tendency during this time period to just only write 2 verses, 2 choruses, do a solo, and call it a fucking day. I was breaking tropes, but I was really just lazy or just couldn't really finish my songwriting. So, okay, we kind of got the chronological order. We talked about a little bit of the album stuff. Let's talk about the song itself, where it came from, how it came to be, right? So, there's a time period in your guitar playing where everything is so new, so creative, and you just have no idea what it is and what you're doing. I accidentally did this one day because I was trying to do, I think like a B. I was doing some sort of B shape, and I accidentally inverted it, and I was like, that sounds good. And then my hands just naturally went to here. And I was like, holy shit, that's good. And then I just combined all those elements, and then we had the song, right? So that took a little while to do, probably about a month or so, just messing around. And then the lyrics, Bright Lights, Big City. So lyrically, every time I played this song, I thought of Chicago at night, the night skyline. So I was just like, all right, bright lights, big city. It's kind of got that fast-paced vibe. It's got like also a little bit of chillness with it. Like, I don't know, it's just like a weird fusion of things. This tempo for the song is actually pretty fast, especially on the album. Like I said, when I do it acoustically, I kind of slow it down a little bit. So looking at the lyrics, bright lights, big city. Bright lights, big city. Oh my God. So, all right, I'm going to preface this a little bit. I can't remember the lyrics of the song because I rarely play it. This is the first time I had to dig up lyrics, and I had to even watch or listen to my album version. Hey, no. I had to listen to my album version of this before actually playing it because I need to make sure I remember the lyrics because they were so random, right? And it's hard for them to stick in my head because like I said, I struggle with writing any lyrics for the song, let alone good lyrics. So Bright Lights, Big City. Bright Lights, Big City. How could... See, it's weird. As soon as I start playing it, I remember. How could I resist? Wonders all around. Listen to those sounds. So to me, I'm gonna let y'all in on a little secret, all right? Kind of afraid of the dark, all right? And it's weird because it's like I'm not really afraid of the dark. I'm just afraid of what could happen or like what could come out of the darkness. So back in the day, right, when I was a kid and I used to be in the city, I used to start getting scared around like 8, 9 o'clock when the lights were going down, and then it's getting a little frightful outside because the time period that I grew up, there were some areas of Chicago you just don't fucking want to be at. So it's weird though because I had a pull. I'm a night owl. Like I love night. I love the nightlife. But like, there's still that kind of fear and hesitation. And Chicago's much better on the whole than it used to be, especially when I was growing up, especially where I was growing up. But there's still times where it's like, yeah, no, maybe you should just not fucking be there. And this song kind of encapsulates just the awesomeness, the pull of a city like Chicago, but also like the fearful aspect, like when you see that skyline, especially one of the first times, like I've talked to people about this, some tourists who come in, that skyline's very overwhelming. And for the last couple of years, I lived in New Mexico before I came back here to Illinois, and it's like a mountain basically. Like when you're driving, because I lived in Albuquerque, when you're driving up towards the mountain, it's so small, and then all of a sudden you're at the fucking base of it, and it's like fucking you're craning your neck up, and you can't see it. You can't see up. It's just all fucking mountain. The tower, Sears Tower and fucking our skyscrapers are kind of the same thing, it just kind of overwhelms you as you get there. And that's kind of what the song was going on about. It's just kind of, I love the city, but I'm afraid of the city. And then the second verse, sunsets over water, but you're never here. I always forget that next part. I just made it up here. It was something's everywhere and fucking, I don't know. I'm not going to keep racking my brains trying to remember the fucking lyrics. The point of the song was that I felt so alone, and I want someone there to fucking help me and be there with me, and it was just me alone in the city. And now we go to the chorus. The chorus I remember because the chorus I was always really proud of. I thought this was one of my best choruses because it rhymed well. The actual chords went with it pretty well. It changed the dynamic of the song. I thought this was kind of the best part of the song. So, many years I've tried. Now I can't deny. There's nothing, just an emptiness inside me now. No matter how hard I try, I just can't live this lie. There's nothing here for me no more. That's basically me kind of just letting it all out about how the city really makes me feel. And it's weird because I felt like that back then in my early 20s. I actually still feel like that now in my 30s. Now that I've come back to Illinois and I live in Chicago for a year, and now I'm back out in the suburbs. I love the city. I want to be here in the city, but I can't. It's not as much of me as I thought. So it's really being truthful of just I'm just lying. I love Chicago, but I don't really want to be in Chicago. And it's not even the whole fearful aspect of it's just Chicago's changed. I'm not going to turn this video into that shit, but Chicago has changed a lot in the last 7 years, we'll say 7, 8 years. And I'm not a fan of it. I don't like what's happening to it. And it makes it easier for me not want to live there. Plus, I can't afford it. I'm too fucking poor. I have 3 jobs and I can't fucking afford to live in the city. So that's part of it as well. Okay. We cover the themes of the song. We cover a little bit of the chronological order of the song. We talked a little bit about the album stuff. So, album response. This was one of our weakest songs, 100%. That's why I got pushed towards later on. So, what we were doing was, when we were coming up with the album set list, I was like, hey,
or sorry, I wasn't. This is one of the only songs where I was like, I didn't think about putting it on the EP at all. This was a live only song, and I'll get to that in a minute. My bassist and my drummer basically demanded that we put this on our EP, and I was like, why? Like, because we like playing it. Our bass player, love that bass line. Our drummer, if you hear the album version, like he fucking go hams on it. Like, and we like, it is a fun song. This song got a better reception live, but our album version, this is definitely probably our lowest played song. It was not the best. It could have been mixed a little bit better. Like I said, I made up the third verse, and like that vocal quality suffers because of it. I think everything else was okay for the most part, but it was buried towards the end. So if we even were sustaining your interest, by the point that comes around, you don't care. You just kind of skip it, or you're done with the album in general. So yeah, it never really got some good reception in that aspect. Live, we brought energy with this song. Like I said, this was a fast song, and we usually, because adrenaline's going and we're getting into it, we usually even played it faster live. That coupled with like me kind of doing like those long vocal sustains and like being loud, like usually got some good audience reception. So I would say, even though this song did not so well album wise, live it was a little bit more higher in the mid tier. Like we would play this song usually at about like the beginning to middle of our set. Usually whenever we started having a lull, or we started stacking too many like slower songs, so this would break up the monotony. I would not use this as an ending song, just because like it builds up on something that just doesn't really deliver. I would rather have something that we could groove on for a while or get some audience participation. So this was more of our, if not like our first like 4, then it was like somewhere in our middle, like 7, 8 kind of thing. So yeah, what else can we say about it? Covered its timeline, covered the lyrics a little bit, the themes, the album reception, the live aspect. So yeah, all right. That basically covers everything for the song. Again, I want to reiterate to everybody that we are not done with the album. We still have one more song to do. However, going back to the chronological order of everything that we've been doing, I have decided we are going to put the rest of the album on pause until we cover the next 2 to 3 songs. And it all comes down to, I just feel like I'm lying to everyone when I talk about the chronological order, but at the same time, I wanted to have a cohesive idea. And if we're going over an album, well, maybe we should have, like all of the album covered first before we get into everything else. But there's flaws with that, because this was never supposed to be a real album. It was supposed to be an EP, a demo to shop around, and then we were going to kind of pull some of the best parts of that with some of our hidden work that we were only playing live and no one else knew about, and then make that as a like fucking AAA banger ass fucking album. But that obviously didn't come into fruition, but that's still kind of how I view everything, so that's why it was giving me issues, and I was finding it hard to have the motivation, plus to even do these videos. Last time I tried to do this song, after doing all this research, I did 4 takes, and I fucking couldn't finish it. Then I started just talking about it, couldn't fucking do it, and I was like, all right, well, I don't hate the song. There's no reason I shouldn't be able to do it. It was just because all the stuff that was going on in my head. So we are going to get back to the album, and we are going to do an album review covering everything after we finish kind of tidying up the chronological order of everything. And that should happen within the next 3 weeks if we keep our schedule of 1 video a week. And then we are good to go back on track, and then we can start working on album number 2, which never ended up coming into a thing, but there's a little bit of a concrete theme with that, and we can discuss that as we get to it. But I wanted to get this one out there, finally got it out there, and yeah, can't really think of anything else because I'm pretty fucking mind fucked. So hope you all enjoyed this slightly slower down version, and yeah, I will obviously link the album version to it as well if you guys want to grate your fucking ears. It's okay, just don't listen to the third verse. After the chorus, just stop. Just pretend it stops, okay? All right, y'all have yourself a good one.